Senator Aquino.
Mr. Chairman, actually, those were also my questions for AMLC. I'd just like to ask Attorney Aguilar and Attorney Escano because I asked this last week. Attorney Aguilar, you mentioned earlier, hindi pa tapos yung accounting ninyo, no? But you'll have it by next week.
Yes, Your Honor. In a week's time, Your Honor.
Attorney Escano, were you able to complete your accounting of the 903 million?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. We've actually submitted our report to the committee, and we've furnished more than sufficient copies, I think 10 copies. We will be accounting for the 100 million that was...
sorry. So yun yung 100 million? Kaya
yes,
Attorney
Mr.
Aguilar yung 900 million?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Your Honor, if I may be allowed, in order to better understand and evaluate what happened to the 100 million, if I be allowed to briefly discuss how a junket works.
It'll be up to the chairman, of course.
Yes, of course. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. Do you want to do this now, Mr. Chairman, or in the next hearing? He can do it now or the next hearing.
This will be very brief, Your Honor.
Okay, please.
Okay. When we talk about a junket system, it is a system where junket operators market a specific casino from abroad, particularly in China. They bring in players into the casino, into a specific junket room to play high roller style, okay? And they operate with junket agents who are the ones who invite these high rollers from abroad. Now, when a junket agent comes into the Philippines, let's say into the Soler Casino and a specific junket like Gold Moon, they deposit a certain amount of money, like for example 100 million. Now these 100 million are converted into what you call non-negotiable dead chips. By non-negotiable dead chips, it is meant that these chips may not be encashed. The only way for you to deal with these chips is to play with them and to lose them in the casino. Now, you probably would say, well, if I'm going to lose them, then why would I want them? When a player plays in a junket, for example, he bets 1 million, he puts in a non-negotiable dead chip of 1 million. If he loses, the chip is taken by the bank. But if he wins, the dead chip is returned to him, and his winnings are returned in terms of cashable chips. So what happens is that the player would try to accumulate as much cash chips.
Your attorney. So that means, yung puhunan na non-negotiable, nasa inyo pa.
I'm going to that.
Okay,
Mr.
go ahead.
Chair.
Go ahead.
So, having said that, as far as Gold Moon Junket is concerned, on February 10, the Gold Moon Junket account was credited by Soler 100 million worth of non-negotiable chips. Now, representing the deposits of junket agent Ding Xixi and Ding Haibin. We must stress that Gold Moon did not receive any cash, but merely non-negotiable chips. Now, the foreign junket agents now went to Gold Moon Junket and opened an account. Before junket players can play in the junket, they have to have an account, okay, where all the transactions are recorded. Now, Mr. Ding Jise and Ding Haibin, through their junket players, identified as Mr. Wang Xin and Mr. Ting Pan Pan. These are players duly manifested with Soler, played at Gold Moon using Gold Moon non-negotiable chips. And they played for 3 days, specifically February 10, February 11, and February 16. Now, at the end of 3 days, the total cash chips that were withdrawn, meaning cashable chips, was pegged at 34,200,000. The total amount cashed at Gold Moon, meaning chips that were converted and withdrawn as cash, was 7,540,000. Now, there was around 67 million worth of dead chips. They were taken from the cage of Gold Moon by the players, and they were not returned. We don't know where they are. Now, in the 3 days that they played, the players actually had aggregate winnings. They won 8,740,000. In other words, pesos, Mr. Chair. In other words, they actually won instead of lost in the casino. So that is our report and accounting as to the 100 million. And if you need clarification,
Okay, Attorney, so may natira bang dead chips sa inyo?
Wala po, kasi
Wala.
po, everything was withdrawn from the cage.
Okay. So they withdrew 67 million pesos worth of dead chips, which they cannot use anywhere else except your junket operator, right?
Yes.
Yes. Would you be able to track those chips if they are used again in your casino? Or you cannot track that anymore?
Well, I believe there would be some difficulty because the chips, although specific, do not have any tracking
Markings. So wala mang, I mean, it's what we
There
imagine a
are
chip to be.
markings, but you have to understand, they don't have any RFID or anything
Exactly,
of that
yeah.
sort. Yes.
May serial numbers ba yung chips?
I have not entered their junket.
Yes. So that can be tracked, technically speaking. So maybe the first thing is, can we get your cooperation that if these chips are used again, that they will be held, no? I mean, that's the first. You don't have to...
To the best of the ability of my client. Your
Okay. So yun yung una, 67 million that was withdrawn that won't ever be used again except in your account. So technically, you still have 67 million in your bank, in your account, because they were converted to chips.
No, Your Honor, because as we mentioned, there was no cash involved. There was only a credit of non-negotiable chips.
Yes,
The
but
physical,
a physical chip, meron ka bang gayang pera, di ba?
Your Honor, may I suggest, in order to enlighten the committee, that we can request Soler to describe how the whole thing works in terms of crediting.
Okay, no, I don't know if Mr. Tan wants to answer, but my question is very simple. Before I get the chips, kailangan kong bilhin yan with money, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Mr.
So may 67 million na kinuha na technically useless na yan, di ba? Kasi kung di nyo tatanggapin, useless na yan, which means may 67 million pa rin nakabangga nung perang yon in some account somewhere. Isn't that right?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, but it's not with your institution. It's not with your institution.
It's credited to the account of Gold Moon, but not in terms of the physical possession of the cash.
Yes, but
It's just there in the account.
it's in an account. So technically, you could withdraw that, di ba?
No, Your Honor.
Why not?
It's not the money, Mr. Chair. Those are just the value of the chips is there, but the physical equivalent or the money is not with Gold Moon.
No, I know, but the value, there is
The
a
value is-
67
the
million
value is there.
peso value somewhere.
Yes.
Okay, where is it? In what account? Oh, sige, Mr. Wong, go ahead.
Sir, when they buy the chips, they buy in the main case of Soler. So Soler will issue the non-negotiable chips. So
Okay.
they will play it there. So
Okay.
when they go back to the Soler.